Zion Williamson. He's been in the news as well. Talk about a crazy draft this has already been. Zion, John Morant, Zion's baby mama has been tweeting about him. Tweeted 164 times over the last 2 weeks. More than he's played in his entire career.
Yeah.
You know more about the story than I do.
Yeah,
but-
she tweeted 164 times and he's only played 133 games.
Yikes. But yeah, so basically, if it's my understanding that his baby mama, girl that's having his child, they hooked up several times throughout his time in the NBA, and now they were supposed to like move in together, and then that didn't happen. But he's also married. I don't fuck what's going on.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on in his personal life, and I really don't want to talk about Zion Williamson's personal life because I want to see him on the basketball court. And now the Pelicans are shopping Zion around. They're like, this guy, I mean, what about Zion? Only played 133 games. People are now saying he's a bust. And kind of the arc with like dating a OnlyFans girl, now having her child, you're going down the same exact arc that Lamar Odom went down. Am I right? Like, you're going down that road. You're going to be remembered as one of the biggest busts in NBA history. And you've pouted for the last 4 years because you weren't drafted by the New York Knicks. And it's so bad now that the Pelicans are trying to shop you around, and they called the Hornets. They're like, hey, Hornets, do you want to take Zion? They're like, we would actually rather have Brandon Ingram. Like, we don't like actually feel comfortable giving up our players for a star who can't shoot. So it's like now you're stuck with this guy who won't get into shape, can't shoot, which is pretty much, unless you're Giannis, you have to be one of the most dominant players in the world or a top 5 player to have the luxury of not shooting. And then he's someone who's probably not going to be an elite defender in his career. And he's explosive and he can kind of dunk. So now he's just down this Lamar Odom route. You're probably going to find a team that will trade for him, but it's not looking good for him.
No, I mean, I remember when he came out of college and everyone was so enamored by him. Actually, before that, when he went to Duke, even before he went to Duke, they're talking about him being the next LeBron, and he's super exciting. And I definitely saw it. I mean, Duke had a great year with Duke before getting drafted, got drafted #1 overall. But at the same time, it's like since then, I feel like he's even had a Greg Oden arc to some extent because Greg Oden, similar player, definitely not as explosive as he was. More of like a traditional big man, but nonetheless, I mean, Zion jumped off your screen when you saw him play, and he still did. I mean, when he actually plays, he's pretty good. But at the same time, like you're talking about a guy that you're building around, somebody who's not a great facilitator, someone who doesn't play defense all that well, somebody who can't stay on the court. So for me, like for Zion, I don't even know what makes sense for him because I feel like he wants to go to New York, but I don't even think New York's going to trade for him at this point.
Yeah, if I'm the Knicks, I don't really want to build around Zion. And he's kind of Tom Thibodeau's the coach of that team, and Zion's kind of like the anti everything that Tom Thibodeau represents. Tom Thibodeau is very much, we're going to play every single night. We're going to play hard and we're going to play on defense. We're going to get back. There's videos of Zion taking his time getting back on defense. Like, it's the regular season, but can you at least show some effort there? You haven't proven anything in the NBA. And then one thing Damian Lillard was talking about on JJ Redick's podcast, he's like, you have all these top draft picks that come in the NBA and they feel entitled to be the man, be the leader, take over that locker room when they haven't proven anything. And then you can speculate on who he's talking about. But one of the prime examples of that is Zion Williamson. He's one of the most disappointing players in NBA history. And your main skill set can't be that I dunk. And it's like, as soon as Brandon Ingram came onto that team, that's when they start to turn around. And like the really tie for success on that team is when Ingram is playing really well, not Zion. So it's like he's someone who needs to figure it out. And if you're not going to do it this year, we're past the point in his career like where Joel Embiid was at, because Joel Embiid struggled with injuries, but Joel Embiid worked so hard to be able to get in shape where he could play in the playoffs. And Joel Embiid still can't get past the second round. What is Zion going to do in the playoffs if Joel Embiid still can't get past the second round? You're not as talented as him. So I don't know. I think it's a wrap. I think he can go somewhere and be like a player on the team, but I don't think he'll be a star.
Yeah, I think at this point, especially with all the injuries that he's had some serious injuries, but then also the weight. He can't keep the weight off either.
Yeah.
So clearly whatever lifestyle he's in, it's just not going to work for him. I feel like he's probably going to go to the East somewhere. To one of those fringe teams. Maybe a team like the Bulls would work with him, with
Yeah.
pairing him with Zach LaVine. But again, I don't think he's ever not going to be a draft disappointment.